Chapter 11. The Human Eye and the Colorful World. By the end of this chapter, you will be able to understand the human eye, structure, power of accommodation, defects of vision and their correction, myopia, hypermetropia, presbyopia, refraction of light through a prism, dispersion of white light by a glass prism, atmospheric refraction, twinkling of stars, advanced sunrise and delayed sunset, scattering of light, Tyndall effect. Why is the color of the clear sky blue? Color of the sun at sunrise and sunset.
Structure of human eye. Our eye is the most important natural optical instrument. The eye is nearly spherical in shape, which fits in the eye socket in the skull bone with a slight bulge in the front part. There are following main parts in the human eye: cornea, iris, pupil, crystalline lens, ciliary muscles, retina. Parts of human eye. The eye is made up of three coats, enclosing three transparent structures. The outermost layer is composed of the cornea and sclera. The middle layer consists of the choroid, ciliary body, and iris. The innermost is the retina. The human eye is a marvel of built-in engineering, combining reflected light, lens imaging capability, multiple lightening adjustments, and information processing, all in the space of your eyeball. When working properly, the human eye converts light into impulses that are conveyed to the brain and interpreted as images. Working of the human eye. When we look at an object, the light falling on it is reflected towards our eyes, and it enters the eyeball through the transparent layer of tissue at the front of the eye called the cornea, which helps in focusing the light. The cornea reflects the light onto the lens. The light from the cornea passes through the moisture-containing aqueous humor and reaches the central opening called the pupil, which with the help of the iris expands or contracts to regulate the amount of light passing through it. Power of accommodation. Ability of our eyes to see near and far off objects. The ability of the eye lens to see both near and far objects by adjusting its focal length is called the power of accommodation of the eye. The adjustment of the focal length of the eye lens enables us to focus on the objects situated at different distances. The ability of the eye lens to see both near and far objects by adjusting its focal length is called the power of accommodation of the eye.
Defects of vision and their correction. Sometimes, the eye may gradually lose its power of accommodation. In such conditions, the person cannot see the objects distinctly and comfortably. The vision becomes blurred due to the refractive defects of the eye. There are mainly three common refractive defects of vision. These are myopia or nearsightedness, hypermetropia or farsightedness, and presbyopia.
Dispersion of white light by a glass prism. The phenomenon of splitting of white light into its component colors is called dispersion of light. It takes place because of the angles of refraction of light for different colors are different. The dispersion of white light occurs because colors of white light travel at different speeds through the glass prism. The amount of refraction depends on the speed of colored light in glass. Since different colors travel at different speeds, they are refracted by different angles on passing through the glass prism. So, when white light consisting of 7 colors fall on a glass prism, each color in it is refracted by a different angle, with the result that 7 colors will spread out to form a spectrum. The band of 7 colors formed on a white screen when a beam of white light is passed through a glass prism is called spectrum of white light. The 7 colors of the spectrum are violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. That is with Q. Newton's experiment. When a beam of white light is passed through a glass prism, it is split up into its component colors. When these colors are allowed to fall on an inverted glass prism, it recombines to produce white light. Atmospheric refraction. When light enters from one medium to another, there is a deviation in its path. This phenomenon is called refraction of light. Atmosphere is composed of layers of various optical densities. Because of this, light rays passing through various layers of atmosphere get deviated. Many interesting phenomena can be observed because of atmospheric refraction. Some of them are given here. Twinkling of stars, advanced sunrise and delayed sunset.
Twinkling of stars. The twinkling of a star is due to atmospheric refraction of starlight. Earth's atmosphere keeps on changing continuously. When the starlight enters through space, the continuously changing Earth's atmosphere undergoes refraction, or bends the light by different proportions and in different directions. When the more starlight is refracted by atmosphere towards us, the star appears to be bright. And when less amount of starlight is refracted, star appears to be dim. In this way, the amount of starlight increases or decreases, causing the twinkling of stars. Advanced sunrise and delayed sunset. Do you know we get to see the sun before it actually rises? Why do you think this happens? You all know that Earth's atmosphere is divided into different layers. Optical densities of these layers decreases with increase in height as we go away from the Earth. The sun reaches the horizon just before the sunrise. Then, sunlight enters obliquely into the atmosphere and gets refracted through different atmospheric layers. This refraction causes the light rays to bend so that sunlight actually reaches the Earth's surface in a curved path. Now if we are looking from observer's point of view, an observer following the path of the light rays entering the eyes, the observer actually sees the sun slightly above its actual position. As a result of this, the sun is visible to us about 2 minutes before the actual sunrise and about 2 minutes after the actual sunset because of atmospheric refraction.
Scattering effect. Another important natural phenomenon where we encounter atmospheric refraction is scattering of light. When light hits a particle, it scatters in different directions. Refraction happens because of non-uniformities of particles of a medium. Many interesting phenomena can be observed because of scattering of light. Some of them are given here. Tyndall effect. The color of clear sky is blue. Tyndall effect. The Earth's atmosphere is a heterogeneous mixture of minute particles. These particles include smoke, tiny water droplets, suspended particles of dust, and molecules of air. When a beam of light strikes such fine particles, the path of the beam becomes visible. Light reaches us after being reflected diffusively by these particles. The phenomenon of scattering of light by the colloidal particles gives rise to Tyndall effect. It is named after the 19th century physicist John Tyndall. Tyndall discovered that when a strong beam of white light is passed through a colloidal solution, light is scattered by the colloidal particles. This scattering of light is called the Tyndall effect. The illuminated beam or cone formed by the scattering of light is called Tyndall beam or Tyndall cone. The path of the light becomes visible when viewed from a direction at right angle to that of the incident light. This phenomenon is seen when a fine beam of sunlight enters a smoke-filled room through a small hole. Thus, scattering of light makes the particles visible. Tyndall effect can also be observed when sunlight passes through a canopy of a dense forest. Here, tiny water droplets in the mist scatter light. The color of the scattered light depends on the size of the scattering particles. Very fine particles scatter mainly blue light, while particles of larger size scatter light of longer wavelengths. If the size of the scattering particles is large enough, then the scattered light may even appear white.
Why is the color of the clear sky blue? You know that white light coming from the sun is the mixture of 7 different colors, and each color has its frequency and its related wavelength. Red-colored light has highest wavelength, while the violet-colored light has shortest wavelength. We have seen that how atmospheric molecules absorb sunlight and scatter it in all the directions. However, all the light is not scattered evenly. Rayleigh's law of scattering says that the intensity of scattered light is inversely proportional to the 4th power of wavelength of a wave. This means that, if the value of lambda increases, intensity gets lower and vice versa. Now if we look at the different wavelengths of light, it is understood that comparatively violet, indigo and blue light will scatter the most. But sky appears to be blue for us. Why not violet, as it has smallest wavelength? The sun emits more blue light as compared to violet or indigo. Therefore, more blue light is scattered by the particles, resulting into the blue color of the sky. Also, human eye is more sensitive to blue light than violet light. Color of the sun at sunrise and sunset. Why do the color of the sun appears red at the sunrise and sunset? Light from the sun near the horizon passes through thicker layers of air and larger distance in the Earth's atmosphere before reaching our eyes. However, light from the sun overhead would travel relatively shorter distance. At noon, the sun appears white as only a little of the blue and violet colors are scattered. Near the horizon, most of the blue light and shorter wavelengths are scattered away by the particles. Therefore, the light that reaches our eyes is of longer wavelengths. This gives rise to the reddish appearance of the sun.